It's that time of the season again. iRacing has released the pre-release notes for the upcoming Season 1 update for 2024. I know you guys don't like reading, so sit back, put this video on 2x speed, and let's figure out what parts of the update matter for you and what don't. Alright, so we're here on the post for iRacing, and the first thing everyone's going to ask if they don't know already is, where is the rain? That's all everyone's been talking about for the past however many years in iRacing. When are we getting rain? When's weather coming? And the answer is, not this update, but maybe the next season. Soon. It's always soon, isn't it? So anyways, let's look at what they are actually adding. So the highlights include the Audi R8 LMS Evo 2 GT3, so another GT3 car to add to the pool, but the Audi by modern standards is a pretty good add, pretty iconic, I guess you could say. But in terms of full new content, like new tracks, we have pending final partner approval, so this should happen, but there's a slight chance it won't happen. It is Mugello. So Mugello, so F1 in 2020 went there. They've had a lot of different types of series there, so I think that's a great add to iRacing because we've seen that a lot of cars work on it, and the best type of track for iRacing is a track where a lot of different types of cars work on it. But you road guys, let me know below what you think about this inclusion, because I am not the authority of road courses. What I do know a little bit better is ovals, and here is the new oval that we're getting added this season, Slinger Speedway, both the oval and the figure 8. Couple interesting things there. The figure 8 is going to be just the second figure 8 in all of iRacing, the first being Irwindale, so Slinger having the second figure 8. Let's see how they incorporate that. I'm guessing a week 13 showcase of that figure 8 is going to happen, so you might want to buy Slinger just for that. But the other cool thing about Slinger is that it has the highest banking for a short track in iRacing so far, and I think just about the highest banking that you'll see in any short track period, because Slinger has 33 degrees of banking in the corners, and it's only a quarter mile long, and they call themselves the fastest quarter mile track period, and I pretty much agree with that. I always meme about like the fastest 5/8 mile, but fastest quarter mile, that's a pretty bold claim, and so we can see some really fun things with that. I'm going to put a F1 car immediately on that track when we get it. Next is going to be full rescan and update for Okayama, full course and short, so this should be updates for most of the graphics. iRacing does update graphics on some of the older scans from time to time. They don't do it super fast, so I know that a lot of tracks still look outdated, but Okayama seems to be getting that update. And then the big thing for oval guys, this seems to be more of an oval centric update than a road centric update, the refresh phase 1. So we'll go over what that means a little bit later when they go into it. Then 3D curbs and 3D foliage, exactly what it means. So 3D curbs coming to Mugello and Okayama, the new damage model for a bunch of vehicles. What's very interesting to me is how many legacy cars they're adding new damage models for. And what I'm thinking about that is they must have a plan to use these legacy cars for something, because I don't know why they would go through the effort of doing a completely new damage model if there wasn't a new sort of series to incorporate these cars into. So maybe something like expanding Draftmaster or another Draftmaster type series with these legacy cars, or they could just be a different series entirely. We'll see. All right, now let's go into some of the more UI little things here. Things like the login really won't matter too much. Creating a race, hosted sessions have been logically improved. I'm really interested to see how that goes because I've been making a lot of hosted sessions lately. So more important selections will occur early. So same thing with AI. So it seems like the order of steps for creating an AI race and a hosted race are going to be about the same. Here's an interesting one that might actually have some implications. Paint Shop. When purchased, all cars should now feature a random paint scheme pattern utilizing the user's helmet colors. That will help make all the cars not look exactly the same on the track when it's like rookie series or something like that. I know that it's kind of iconic when you go into a race to have everybody look the same if it's a car that everybody either just bought or it's a rookie car and people are brand new. So having that diversity off the bat with the random schemes will make the experience feel more immersive, I think. And now I'm going to bring you guys back to a post in March that this update is kind of referring to, where they are sunsetting the classic member site. This is a sad day for all of the OGs on iRacing who have only been using the member site and not the UI. I will admit, the more that I use the UI, the more I enjoy it. Yeah, but I still have a soft spot for the member site, so I'm sad to see it go. They've been playing this for a while, as you can see, March 16th, 2023, so earlier this year, but now what they're referring to is now they're switching the classic member site and switching into something called iRacing Web. So they're adding functionality into iRacing Web to make it as close to functional as the UI as possible, and they are sunsetting the legacy member site. So let's skip down to here real quick. Legacy member site will have most functionality disabled during season 1 in preparation for a new anti-cheat system. So this is very interesting. I know that the anti-cheat system, a lot of people were kind of paranoid about the member site being a way to bypass iRacing's current anti-cheat system. So that might be something to be on the lookout for. So if you're a cheater and you're using that, I guess, sorry. But another thing too is this does not include endpoints for some third parties relying on scraped data and stats. So you can still get stats and stuff from the legacy member site, which is good because the legacy member site has way more stats available than the UI. And I really hope that they add that to the UI or the web, new website soon. So back to what the iRacing Web is. The iRacing UI is going to be directly available in a web browser, not through the classic member site, but what they call iRacing Web. So what's going to be available in iRacing Web? View all session types, create purchase hosted sessions, view time attacks and results, browse and purchase the iRacing store, view all cars and tracks, download paint templates, manage car classes, some other stuff, result in stats section, file a protest. But as you can see, launching stuff is not on here. So if you want to launch a session or a race, it looks like we are going to have to go through the UI no matter what. And it says may change in the future, so it seems like they're trying to get that done. But if you want to race, don't uninstall the UI. That's pretty much all I gotta say. The paint shop stuff, I can see why it would have to be on the UI. That makes sense, but man, I'd like to be able to launch a race from a website. Call me old-fashioned, I'm sorry. So some other stuff just in the simulation, optimizing improved rendering performance for complex scenes such as during gridding. If you guys notice, when you grid, a lot of the times you get a really crappy FPS. I know I do at least. So maybe that'll help with that. It doesn't matter too much for me. It's more of an immersion thing because you're not actually racing during the gridding process, but that's okay. More detail about the 3D curb system. Fully models all curbing at the track, including small curbing previously simulated via a texture. So you're now going to get exactly what you see with the curb as opposed to an approximation via a texture or a hitbox type thing before. There's also been updates to grass, dirt, sand, and gravel to have improvements in the feeling of surface displacement. I remember in the last update, you kind of got too much grip from some of these surfaces, so they probably are just tweaking those so that you can't get advantages from them, but they don't absolutely murder you like they used to. So yeah, for grass surfaces, the peak shear strength is slightly reduced when a tire is slipping. So it looks like that's exactly what that's doing. So here we got more about phase 1 of the Asphalt Oval Refresh project. Asphalt Oval Refresh is an ongoing project with the aim to improve overall experience and realism of Asphalt Oval racing. This release of phase 1 includes improvements to surface grip levels as it relates to surface temperature. So there's going to be a more dynamic experience, such as with weather, car count, and where cars are running on the track. So different parts of the track, if they have more activity, if they have more exposure to sun, you're going to get different levels of grip depending on it, and that's good. That's what iRacing kind of used to have. I don't know how realistic it was back then, but it kind of went away with the new tire model, and so it's good to see that they're trying to bring that back with the Oval Refresh, but we'll see how good that works. Here's another huge thing. Something that I've been whining and crying about for a while now is how SR is calculated on short tracks. So with short tracks, all SR adjustments are based on a factor of 4 corners per lap, where there used to be 2 corners per lap. Simplest terms, you now get double the safety rating per lap on short tracks as you used to. That's good for short track racing because there's a lot of beating and banging and everyone's safety rating goes down, and that's going to be really good at getting safety rating to go up too if you can find a clean short track combo. And I just want to point out something a little funny in the AI racing. Yeah, they added a couple cars here, they added some tracks here, but they always say that they trained their AI on these funny little courses when they train their AI. So, and again, here are all the new damage models that we're seeing. Nothing crazy. The off-road trucks are going to be cool to see the new damage model. New damage on the Lotus is going to be nice. It's been a while for that. And then we see Cup Series new damage models, so that's going to be pretty crazy too. Super late model, and then some legacy stuff. Here's something, they're getting rid of the slider in the graphics. So you know you had that slider that you could allocate how much RAM you're giving. I think that's what that was about. Now the memory sliders are being removed and you can change them in the INI. So it seems like iRacing has developed a way to utilize the RAM usage in a way where you don't have to control anything. So I would just trust iRacing on this one. And if you're seeing some performance decreases, then I would have to dig into the INI file, but it doesn't look like it's going to be too big of a change, and hopefully it's something that kind of runs itself. All right, some sporting code updates. Section 8.1, specific notation about automated driving inputs and cheating. Does that include macros? I'm confused. Okay, let's look real quick. Okay, so the sporting code doesn't look to be updated with automated driving inputs and cheating yet. This might mean that they're getting rid of macros. I know people were using that for like the perfect launch every time, so that'll be interesting to see what happens with that. So application of penalties have been rewritten to improve clarity. So there's some new penalties added. Post-race results disqualification. We already talked about that in the previous video, so that's cool. Participant may be disqualified from the event. Nothing about iRating there, unfortunately, though. So it doesn't seem like iRating will be effective, just results. So if you're causing havoc in like C-Fix or something, you can be suspended from that, so that's pretty interesting. We'll see how that's implemented. And they have new penalties that provide our protest team with new tools and administer measured and fair rulings. Cool, so nothing that we've really learned yet, so we'll just have to wait and see how they're applied. All right, looking through just specific car updates, looks like GT3 series cars are gonna have some updates to ABS and TC, so we'll see how that differs with driving, but I think it could affect it a lot. We'll see how that goes. Same thing about GTP. It looks like there's going to be the traction control system being updated, tire parameters updated, so it might drive a little bit different than you're used to, but we'll see how it is. And again, here's the new car, the Audi R8 LMS Evo 2 GT3, a mainstay in GT3 events for the world for the past decade. Looks like the traction control has been improved for the Dallara P217 as well. So just the speed of the traction control, the calculation speed. So I guess it'll update quicker. New damage models for the Dirt Modified. I think I missed that before. Okay, with the Ford GT, the traction control on-off switch has been removed from both the garage and the black box. Instead, the car now utilizes a 5-second TC disable function. Okay, that's interesting. That must be realistic to real life. And then they also updated some parameters with these. A lot of changes to the Lamborghini GT3. Engine braking decreased, differential has more locking power, throttle pedal mapping has been inverted to match new information of the real world. So yeah, a lot of stuff just trying to make it closer to real life. And finally, new tracks, of course. We got Mugello we already talked about. Current Raceway is now called Kevin Harvick's Current Raceway, if you didn't know, so that's cool. And I think that's just about it. New track with Slinger, and we're got to the end. So not the biggest update I've ever seen with iRacing. We're still getting some new content. No like brand new cars to really mess around with, but we got a couple tracks. We got some new curb systems, a lot of stuff to mess around with. So let me know what you're most excited for this update. And as always, thank you all for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you all on the track.